Yeah, it's been a busy week as far as the markets have been concerned. A Friday morning, let's begin to wrap things up. Still one more day of trading left, of course, but it hasn't been a good couple of days for the JSE. Nicholas Dakin, portfolio manager at Sasfin Wealth, joining us this morning. Nicholas, good to have you back on eNCA. We'll talk oil and the rand in a second, but 2-week lows for the JSE, red and going down. What's happening?
Yes, Gareth, it's been pretty ugly. We've seen the JSE just continue to move lower on the back of mainly what's happening globally, not so much what's happening in South Africa. And obviously the primary driver of this still being the outlook for global inflation and interest rates and where that is going. So yeah, we saw yields in the US yesterday continuing to move higher. And obviously that's not good news for the market.
No, of course it's not. As well, what's not going to be good news for us as we bring up the numbers for gold and oil. We'll bring it up for everybody now. Let's start off quickly with the gold, because I want to get your thoughts on oil. How's gold looking? Normally a bit of a safe haven. So not necessarily been the case the last couple of days. I see we're actually trading down slightly.
Yeah, so down slightly on the day, but we are fast approaching that $2,000 level, which is obviously quite a big move from where we were, a week or so ago, which I think does speak to the fact that we continue to remain in a risk-off environment, and the market is very jittery, with yields continuing to move higher. And obviously tensions in the Middle East, escalating. We saw things escalate quite a bit yesterday. The Israeli Defense Force on the ground apparently been given the green light to move into Gaza. We saw a drone attack on a US military base in Syria. Also, apparently a US warship, which was deployed to the Middle East, shot down 3 missiles, which were fired from Yemen and aimed at Israel. So yeah, all those factors, certainly not helping. And yeah, gold, we are seeing it move towards that $2,000 level, which we haven't seen for quite some time. I think we were last there around July. Yeah.
Let's talk oil, because you mentioned the Middle East, of course, and I have a strong suspicion it's affecting that oil price. Jittery is the right word, Nicholas, as well, because we're going to have jittery motorists. We're seeing a reduction of the fuel price expectedly in the first week of November, but this knock-on effect come December's increase, if oil keeps going north, this could hurt us come December.
Absolutely, Gareth. So it will be a delay, but we have seen oil move higher. We actually yesterday at the beginning of the day we saw the price move lower, and this was on the back of news that OPEC said it won't support Iran's request for an oil embargo on Israel, and then the US eased sanctions on Venezuela. So oil was slightly lower on the day in the morning, but then we saw a very sharp move higher towards the $93 level, which I see is where we're trading at this morning, on the back of those tensions continuing to escalate. So we might see a fuel price decrease in the short term, but unfortunately, I think this isn't good for us in the coming months.
Yeah, and obviously we know about the rand volatility at the moment as well. We'll bring up the rand indicators and the currency indicators. But while we bring it up, just so viewers can see what they are at the moment, I want to talk business news with you quickly. Nokia, there's a cell phone company's name I haven't heard for a while. Tell me what's happening there. Not good news for them, because I see they're laying off thousands of jobs. And then we've got to talk about Mondi as well. Let's just talk Nokia very quickly. What's happening there?
Yeah, so many people still think of Nokia as a cell phone maker. The business now hardly makes, I don't even know if they make any more cell phones. They are very much focused on 5G equipment and rolling out 5G across Europe. But they came out and said they are going to cut their workforce by about 15%. And this was on the back of results which were quite weak. They said that they've seen quite a big slowdown in demand for 5G equipment, especially in the US and Europe. Obviously, the US is the most important region for them. So on the back of this, they're trying to keep the bottom line good. They've decided that they're going to try and focus on costs. And obviously, one of the quickest ways to do this is to reduce their head count. So looking to lay off quite a lot of their staff. We saw Ericsson earlier on in the week also echo similar remarks, and their results were also pretty weak. Also going to be focusing on costs. So yeah, look, I think maybe this just shows how things in the economy, the global economy, perhaps are slowing down a little bit. Locally, we had Mondi's results, which were released yesterday, and the market certainly didn't like those results. The share was down nearly 7% on the back of their Q3 trading update.
Yeah, so it looks like Mondi's share and their prices at the moment being boxed in. I had to do it. Nicholas, always good to have you with us. I'm sure we'll talk again in the next week. So it's been a bit of a bumpy ride. I like the way Nicholas described it. An ugly week, but there's no other way of describing it on the JSE. Being a 2-week low, there's a couple of issues we were watching, especially that oil price. It's that delay that Nicholas talks about. It's going north at the moment. It's not going to affect November's fuel price. It doesn't look like, but very much going into December, just before holidays, we could have some more fuel price adjustments, and not for the good. Nicholas Dakin.